It is not the descent towards the shadow nor the rise towards the light that makes us superior. It is the endless struggle between the two that greatness of character lies. We are tested and we do not break. We will never fall!
The Horus Heresy, a cataclysmic civil war that tore the Imperium of Man asunder, remains the defining tragedy of the Warhammer 40k verse. At its heart lies the fall of Horus Lupercal, the Emperor's most favoured son, to the corrupting influence of chaos. While the generally accepted narrative paints Horus as a victim of manipulation and the Emperor as a betrayed father, a darker, more controversial theory lingers in the shadows of the lore. Did the Emperor of Mankind want the Horus Heresy to happen? This theory, though unsettling, is not without its merits. It hinges on the complex nature of the Emperor, his inscrutable plans, and the very real possibility that his goals for humanity transcended the conventional understanding of good and evil. To explore this, we must delve into the details of the Emperor's motivations, his actions leading up to the heresy, and the potential benefits, however twisted, that could have stemmed from such a devastating conflict. Greetings all, I'm your guide, the Archivist. Today I will dive into if the Emperor of Mankind actually wanted the Horus Heresy to happen. Before we begin, please make sure to like and subscribe waypoints down below, so that more people can learn from the archives. The foundation of any argument suggesting the Emperor's intentionality rests on understanding his ultimate goal, the survival and evolution of humanity. He envisioned a future where mankind had transcended its reliance on religion and superstition, becoming a purely rational, psychic species capable of navigating the perils of the galaxy. The Great Crusade, with its zealous purging of alien influences and its suppression of faith, was merely a tool to achieve this end. However, the warp, the source of psychic power and the dominion of the Chaos Gods, presented a significant obstacle. The Emperor understood its inherent dangers, recognizing that unchecked psychic potential could lead to corruption and damnation. His solution was the cultivation of the Astartes, genetically engineered super soldiers with powerful psychic abilities tightly controlled through rigorous training and unwavering loyalty. He also sought to guide humanity towards a more stable psychic state, a goal seemingly impossible to achieve without confronting the raw power of chaos itself. Here's where the theory gains traction. Some argue that the Emperor, with his profound understanding of the warp and its influence, foresaw the potential for Horus's fall long before it transpired. He possessed the power of foresight, albeit an imperfect one, and may have glimpsed the heresy as a possible future. The question then becomes, why didn't he prevent it? One possibility is that the Emperor believed the heresy, despite its immense cost, was a necessary crucible for humanity. Perhaps he saw the conflict as a way to purge the burgeoning corruption that was already festering within the Imperium. The stagnation, the bureaucratic infighting, and the creeping influence of chaos cults were all threats to his grand design. The heresy, with its agonizing trials and brutal losses, could have served as a brutal yet effective means of weeding out the weak and forging a stronger, more resilient Imperium. Consider the Primarchs themselves. These demigod sons of the Emperor, each embodying a particular aspect of his personality and possessing immense power, were also inherently flawed. Some were overly ambitious, others were prone to rage, and still others harbored secret resentment. The heresy forced these flaws to the surface, ultimately leading to the death or damnation of several Primarchs. It's conceivable that the Emperor saw this as a necessary culling, eliminating those who posed a long-term threat to his vision. Furthermore, the heresy dramatically altered the Imperium's relationship with the warp. Before the conflict, the understanding of psychic power was relatively limited, even among the Astartes. The heresy forced humanity to confront the true scope of Chaos's power and its corrupting influence. The subsequent creation of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica, the Inquisition, and other organizations dedicated to combating psychic threats can be seen as a direct response to the lessons learned during the heresy. In a grim and paradoxical way, the heresy may have provided the Imperium with the knowledge and tools necessary to survive in the long run. However, the most compelling argument for the Emperor's intentionality lies in his apparent inaction in the years leading up to the heresy. Despite numerous warnings and signs of Horus's growing discontent, the Emperor remained largely aloof, focusing on his secret webway project beneath Mars. This project, often speculated to involve esoteric techniques and the manipulation of the warp, consumed his attention, seemingly to the detriment of the Imperium. Critics argue that the Emperor should have intervened more directly, either by confronting Horus personally or taking steps to mitigate the factors that contributed to his fall. His failure to do so, they contend, suggests a deliberate calculation. Perhaps he believed that any attempt to prevent the heresy would ultimately prove futile, or worse, would lead to an even more catastrophic outcome. However, this perspective overlooks the limitations inherent in the Emperor's power. While immensely powerful, he was not omniscient. His ability to foresee the future was clouded by the complexities of the warp and the choices of free-willed individuals. He may have seen the heresy as a possibility, not a certainty, and chosen to focus his efforts on other, equally pressing concerns. Furthermore, the Emperor was arguably constrained by the very principles he espoused. His desire for humanity to embrace reason and reject superstition meant that he could not simply intervene with divine authority. He had to allow his sons and humanity as a whole to make their own choices, even if those choices led to tragedy. Ultimately, the question of whether the Emperor wanted the Horus Heresy to happen remains a matter of speculation. The available evidence is ambiguous, and the Emperor's motivations are shrouded in mystery. It's impossible to definitively prove that he intentionally orchestrated the conflict, but equally impossible to dismiss the possibility entirely. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Perhaps the Emperor, with his profound understanding of the galaxy's dangers and his unwavering commitment to humanity's survival, recognized the heresy as a necessary evil, a brutal crucible that would ultimately forge a stronger, more resilient Imperium. He may not have wanted it to happen in the conventional sense, but he may have accepted it as a cost worth paying for the long-term survival of mankind. The grim reality of the Warhammer 40k verse is that there is no easy answers, no clear-cut definitions of good and evil. A figure of immense power and enigmatic purpose embodies this ambiguity. Whether he was a betrayed father, a flawed leader, or a Machiavellian architect of humanity's destiny, his actions continue to shape the fate of the galaxy, leaving us to ponder the details of his grand design and the true cost of his ambition. Horus Heresy, regardless of its origins, serves as a testament to the enduring power of chaos and the fragility of even the most ambitious dreams. It is a stark reminder that in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, and the Emperor, in his infinite wisdom, or perhaps his infinite pragmatism, may have seen it coming all along. And so I have now covered the content for this video, but if there's anything that has been missed, please share them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like the like and subscribe waypoints down below. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war.